So I was just mindlessly scrolling through TikTok and I came across this really interesting post about Transformers One. It has some points that give me some ideas about this movie. The post was basically talking about why Transformers One failed. Now there were two slides, which on one of them was Orion and on the other one was D16, two characters, and I found it interesting, like try to use these characters to explain why the movie failed. So in the first slide, Orion Pax basically says, or for example is referring to it, I don't know, Transformers 1 failed because of the marketing team, which honestly is pretty obvious, like we all know that from the start. But then comes the second slide, which makes it more interesting. So basically it says that Transformers 1 failed because the majority of us saw the trailer and decided because it's an animated movie, we're not going to give the cast a chance, and already decided it was a bad movie. So we didn't go to the theaters until it was already too late. Now, this is super interesting to me because without a doubt, we all agree that the marketing team dropped the ball on this. The first trailer was so bad, we all thought it's going to be some cringy kids movie.
Badassatron.
And that's frustrating because we were expecting some sort of a dark tone movie, or at least something like Transformers Prime, which had a mix of dark tone and humor. But instead, that trailer made so many fans just, nope, out. I don't want to see this. They didn't even care about the movie after that at all. Then came the second trailer and eventually other trailers started dropping out, teasers and everything. But even after the reviews came out, a lot of people still weren't planning to watch it. They were stuck on the first trailer and they just refused to give the movie a chance. And I get it, you know? The first trailer really turned people off. I actually remember I was watching the trailer live when it was being released. It was some sort of a big announcement that they were sending the trailer into space or something, I don't know. And when it was played, I remember the live chat as it was showing the trailer. People had really mixed feelings and they said how bad it looks. And I also had mixed feelings about it as well. I was like, I don't know how to feel about this at all. It just didn't have the style we were expecting or wanted, like Transformers Prime at the very least. We were expecting something serious, maybe diving into the history of Optimus and Megatron, back when they were Orion Pax and Megatronus. The backstory was so dark and at the same time interesting. People were hoping Transformers 1 can lean into that. But then we got the trailer and yeah, it really didn't deliver on what we were expecting. Obviously, different Transformers continuities come with different stories, and that's completely normal. I respect that, and honestly, I'm really glad that they just did with different takes. Some aspects of Transformers 1 actually show some great improvements. Maybe not perfect, but it's still worth appreciating. The first trailer killed the hype, as I said. Even when the movie came out, people had already decided they're not going to watch it and it's not worth watching. Personally, I still had high hopes because when the pre-screening reviews and scores came out, it seemed decent. So I went to see it with optimism and I wasn't disappointed. It was actually good. But so many fans refused to even give it a chance, as we saw in the post I showed earlier. I remember I had to force one of my friends to go and see it, and you know what? He ended up liking it. But most people didn't have someone pushing them like that, so they skipped it entirely. It's frustrating because it's like that the fan base ruins its own chance. Like if you're a Bayverse fan, which is okay, I don't really agree with them most of the times, but they probably dismissed the movie right away. And even Transformers Prime fans didn't like the first trailer. They thought the movie is going to be trash or garbage. But here's the thing, when they finally watched it, even the haters admitted it wasn't bad. The problem is, by that point, it was already too late. The damage was already done. So right now, I was just focusing on the perspective of a Transformers fan. But think about it. Imagine you're just a regular person who enjoys watching movies. You're not a hardcore fan or anything. Maybe you've barely even heard of Transformers. Then you see the first trailer for this movie. Unless you're like 6 or 7 years old, your first reaction is probably like, what is this? I'm not gonna waste my time on this. The trailer made it seem like it was completely a kid's movie, and sure, it's a family and friendly movie, but it still had its moment. It wasn't some super childish dumbed down thing. It wasn't some sort of a super dark or blood-dusted type of movie that's going to give you nightmares at night or anything like that. Even the jokes they showed in the trailer, in the actual movie, they were placed well enough that they didn't annoy you or ruin the vibe. The lighter and funnier stuff was placed in the first third of the movie, which makes sense and didn't feel out of place. But then once the second act kicked in, the tone shifted. Things got darker, more intense, and way more interesting. But yeah, the trailer didn't just turn off the Transformers fans, it also killed the interest for new viewers. People who weren't already a fan had no reason to go watch it because the trailer made it look like a bad movie. So yeah, this whole thought process came up from those two slides I saw on TikTok. I want to talk about it because honestly, I don't 100% agree with the post, but I don't fully disagree with it either. I do think the points they made are connected and did contribute to why Transformers One didn't go well. Hopefully we'll see a sequel someday though, who knows?